No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show with Dave Manouk. With Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss the Winnipeg Jets, the on-fire Winnipeg Jets, one of the hottest teams in the NHL, racking up another 2 points in the victory column with a tidy 6-3 victory over the Nashville Predators as they returned home to start the homestand in downtown Winnipeg. Gentlemen, good to see you both on this Thursday night. I was sort of thinking as this game was getting underway and as trying to figure out where I was going to lead off with this post-game show. I would say right now, 13 games through the Winnipeg Jets season, to me, this Jets team looks like a team, and the other shoe might drop one day, who knows? But right now, this team looks like a team that beats the teams it should beat. And oftentimes, in past years, we haven't necessarily been able to say that as well. We've seen instances where they do so, and then they fall off. But right now, with the way this team's playing at 5-on-5, and the way that this team is beginning to maybe even out when it comes to the special teams, they do seem like they're a pretty good hockey team, I would say.
Well, last game was arguably their best road game of the year, right? Like, I would argue that was their best road game of the year, especially in the second period. The Jets completely took over, led by the Scheifele line. And same thing tonight, right? Like, it happened in the second period. Again, the Predators stuck around. And then, the Kyle Connor show took over, which we'll obviously get into the Betway game recap because he had the Hattie. But yeah, I mean, so far this season, the Jets are beating the teams they should beat, whether it's Nashville or St. Louis or, Arizona, even though we all agree that Arizona is a better team this year. And earlier, the first 6 or 7 games of the year, we were talking about all of these points that the Jets left on the board, right? Whether it was the opening game against Calgary or, even more recently against the Rangers or Montreal, right? Yeah. So the Vegas game has really been the only blip, right? Because the team has points in 8 of 9 games, right? So yeah, they're playing really well right now. And I would agree. I mean, Nashville, I think, the three of us probably had Nashville as the 5th, 6th, or 7th best team in the Central. I think most people had Chicago, but Chicago's actually playing some pretty good hockey. But I think the point is not many people had Nashville as a top 4 team. The Central Division, I think, and by the way, it was mentioned by Dan Roberts on the broadcast, and it seems like, a month into the season every year we're talking about, how weird the schedule is, but it's pretty weird that was the first game of the season in the Central for the Predators, right? Like we talked about, the Jets have only played 4 games now in the Central.
This is their 4th game in the Central.
Right. Yeah, and they're 4-0, but the fact that Nashville hasn't played a game in the Central to me was pretty odd, considering that was game 12 or 13 for them, right? So yes, the Jets are beating the teams they should beat. They're playing really well. The special teams, obviously, over the last 3 or 4 games have come around. The penalty kill was really good tonight. The power play was really good. And, that in the third period there, Dave, when the Jets took the back-to-back penalties, the Predator, you're down 2 goals. The Predators could have, climbed back in that game. But, the Jets penalty kill got it done. So the special teams, to me, if we're looking at this, like, what's the biggest difference between the last 4 games, 5 games, the special teams is the obvious answer. But yeah, the big difference between this year and last year is the Jets are getting it done at even strength. And, they're not relying on Connor Hellebuck or Laurent Brossoit. Like, Laurent Brossoit and Connor Hellebuck are not, anywhere close to the top 5 or top 10 in the league in goals saved above expected. Not saying that they've been bad, but Hellebuck and Brossoit definitely have not had to steal games so far this year.
Yeah, I was just going to chime in here and say that, to me, as he's right, like we already talked about it throughout the course of this season, the 5-on-5 play for Winnipeg has been pretty good. Yeah. But the problem was that their special teams were abysmal. And now you've cleaned up the special teams. You're scoring on your power play. You're preventing on your penalty kill. Your 5-on-5 play didn't take a hit. Yeah. Guess what? Even though a number of guys took hits today, and there was some quite a little bit of physicality, it felt like the old days of the Jets Predators, the 17-18 run. But look, I mean, we talked about it. We talked on the Saturday show. We've talked about it on post-game shows. When your special teams are working and your 5-on-5 play, because remember, the Jets almost had some cheap calories where their 5-on-5 play last year wasn't great, but they had such a good power play, or their penalty was working, that they managed to and obviously their goaltending was exceptional. And as he's right, goaltending hasn't been exceptional this year. Right. So because of those, so let's call them empty calories, the Jets were able to manufacture a lot of points. Well, this year, you don't really have those empty calories. You have a routinely the lines playing well, and it's not just, notice I said lines, not one line. You've got multiple lines throughout this team now that are playing well. They're coming at you in waves. They're evening out the ice time, which means you're not overworking guys. And to me, again, we said it. If your 5-on-5 play is this good, and your special teams gets cleaned up, that's going to be the difference between this Jets club excelling and or middling. And right now we're seeing them excelling simply because they figured it out. Again, like I said, regardless of what it is, I mean, again, it's not done because they've had some success over a course of a couple of games. But the fact of the matter is, if they can continue this, and of course it's a big test against the Dallas Stars on Saturday. Yeah. But if they can continue this, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see from this Jets club, a deeper team and a more efficient team in all elements of the game.
Yeah, look, they're now 4-0 in division. And yes, they haven't played the upper echelon teams in the division, no question about it. But they so happen to be playing also in a division that's, I think most people would say a weaker division, which is weird to say about the Central Division because for so long it was the toughest division in the NHL.
Is there any doubt in any one of our minds that the two best divisions are in the East? Like, to me, it's not even close.
It's not even close. No. Well, you look at the teams,
which is weird because the West keeps winning the Cup, right? But,
right.
I don't know. The San Jose Sharks look really good in the Pacific.
We'll keep a close eye tonight on the post-game show on the stink bowl between the Sharks and the Oilers to see how that plays out. But look, there's no question, as you're absolutely right, that the two best divisions overall, top to bottom, are in the East. But the Jets have to win those games in division, and if they can, you're off to a good start. They did well last year in division.
What were they like? What was it like? They were a good number, whatever it was. They were significantly over. I want to say 18-8, but it seems like it's too little. So it'd be higher than that. But whatever it was, their number against the Central was very good last year.
Yes, it was very good last year. There's no question about it. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick here.
Mine's low, but it's something of that nature where they were significantly above 500 in their games against the Central.
Mm-hmm. They were good against the Central last year. They've been good against the Central so far this year. They're winning the games they should win, and they're doing so not on the back of Connor Hellebuyck, as both of you said, because the goaltending, I would say, so far, it's ironic. In the preseason, the guys on The Athletic, or whomever it was on The Athletic, described the Jets as a very mid team with excellent goaltending. Well, that's sort of been flipped on its head right now. The Jets are playing excellent hockey 5-on-5 with very mid goaltending. Now, I wouldn't expect that to last. So, imagine if this team stays at this level and then gets the goaltending to back it up. Well, it's not going to be a team you want to play night in, night out. But it's just, they're playing a very good brand of hockey right now. And that's certainly what you wanted to see from them. And you weren't sure how they were going to respond tonight off the road trip. And everyone, the old cliche, and it's definitely a cliche, that, the hardest games to win are their first game back playing at home after a bit of a road trip. And, this was what you wanted to see. They really, the score was closer at times, but really the Jets, I think, by and large, controlled this game. And being the stronger team, being a better team, they should be able to sort of put their foot on the Nashville Predators. And they did a lot of that throughout the course of this game. And 6-3 is the final. And yes, that third period was absolutely interminable with all the different penalties being called, every which way. It just seemed like
there are a lot of penalties,
took forever,
including. Oh no, there's only one delay a game, I think, in the game, which is Ezzy's least favorite penalty, but two, the number of too many men. So
yeah, it was a very long.
Sorry, Drew. When was the last time, by the way,
back to back,
you had not that, but you had a guy, Lowry, not just a guy, the captain, have two fights in the game and also back to back. Like, I agree with Dave. The back to back too many men on the ice is very rare.
Did his mic just cut out or something? That was weird.
Oh. Am I good, guys?
No, now you're good.
Now you're good. It was
okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. It sounded good on my end, but yeah, it's rare. All I wanted to say was it's rare where you have too many men on the ice penalties and 2 fights in a period in the same game.
Yeah, certainly. We'll have to get the Elias Sports Bureau on that to see if they can give us some
The
insight
Patrick
into.
Elias Sports Bureau.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, very. As long as it goes back to your Devils, Ezzy. That's the important part. Look, everything you like by and large, you like the Winnipeg Jets effort tonight. You like the game. You like what I like about the goaltending. Not probably the overall game necessarily, but I thought Laurent Brossoit got better as the game went on. And in that third period, when it was still, potentially a competitive game, when especially, when it was 4-2, to start that third period, and the Predators could have gotten even closer when they had those power play opportunities. Laurent Brossoit made the saves that he needed to make. So his numbers aren't going to look great. 3 goals against on only 23 shots. So that's not going to do anything great for any save percentage or anything. And there's still an area of concern there, I would suggest. But he got better, and I thought he made the key saves when he needed to make them as the game went on tonight. And look, 6-3 is 6-3. And points in 8 of your last 9 are points in 8 of your last 9. The Jets, and it's not like they have to hold their nose while accepting these points. These are well-earned points that they're banking. And, again, Saturday against the Dallas Stars, which is your next contest, not an important game because it's game 14 of 82, but it's going to be nice to see how the Jets, play against a team that has got a higher caliber of performance in them than the Blues do, or than the Predators do, or than the Arizona Coyotes do. A game against a team that is considered to be an upper echelon team within this NHL. So that's what's in store on Saturday between the Jets and the Dallas Stars, which of course allows me to plug Saturday morning's Illegal Curve Hockey Show, 9 a.m. here on our YouTube channel, getting you set for everything with regard to the Jets and the Stars later on in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. Ted Wyman going to join us from the Winnipeg Sun to talk about that game on Saturday morning. So let's talk,
and the West Final, of course.
And the West Final, of course, between the Bombers and the BC Lions. Yes, no question about it. We touch on everything when we need to here on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. But let's get into the goal-by-goal recap here of the Jets' 6-3 victory over the Nashville Predators. You know it. You love it. It's the Betway game recap.
The Betway game recap.
Big thanks to our friends at Betway for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. The Betway game recap. Your Betway is your most trusted sports betting platform. Be sure to head over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play, and we want you, first and foremost, to please play responsibly. Winnipeg Jets open the scoring in tonight's contest nice and early. 4 minutes and 4 seconds into the first period. Good things happen when you go to the net. Good things happen when you put the puck on the net. Mason Appleton gets his 4th assist to Lowry and Niederreiter, and it's an off-the-rush goal for a line that doesn't typically get off-the-rush goals, but everybody gets a little stick on it. Everybody makes a nice passing play, and then Appleton just goes hard and throws the puck towards the net and sort of ricochets off Tyson Barrie past UC Saros to give the Jets a 1-0 lead, Ezzy.
Yeah, I like the work that Nino Niederreiter does on this goal. I think it was Ryan
O'Reilly. Said you like the work Nino Niederreiter does, period. And that would have been a fine statement.
Yeah, sure. But I like that. I think it was Ryan O'Reilly that tried to clear it off the boards, and then Niederreiter picked it up midair. But it was Niederreiter, as you mentioned, who starts the rush over the Preds blue line. He just makes a nice pass by fighting off O'Reilly there. And yeah, it was a little bit of a debate who scored the goal. And then you could see that as they were skating to the bench, Lowry, I think he was also possibly, motioning to the referee, but Lowry motioned that it was Appleton's goal. So this line continues to be, very strong, guys. I mean, clearly the game against the Coyotes was probably their strongest game of the year. And, this game tonight, I mean, that's what you want. You mentioned, the first game after a road trip, you want to start strong, and that's what they do 4 minutes into this game. So yeah, I mean, look at, you had both Lowry and both Niederreiter going to the net there. You love to see that, and that's when the line is the most effective, right? Like, this is a crash and bang line. Like Kevin Sawyer calls it the identity line, the grinder line. This is what they do best. And obviously, Lowry had the 2 fights, didn't have any impact on the game, but he was throwing his weight around and laying some good body checks. And that definitely did have an impact in this game, Dave.
Yeah, and you know it's appropriate, Ezzy, that it was Moose alumni game, and of course it seemed like the entire Moose alumni, with the exception of Brendan Dillon, were in on the goals throughout the course of this hockey game for the Jets. I almost said the Manitoba Moose boys, but yeah, Mason Appleton, of course, won AHL Rookie of the Year back in 16-17. So appropriate that he gets things going. Of course, Adam Lowry had some spot duty with the Moose. He went down, I think it was for 4 or 5 games before he was quickly recalled up to the parent club. But I mean, it's just a testament to that line. That line just works so well. And I said it, and I'm going to jump ahead to the third period because it's true throughout the course of the game, but it was evident on one shift. Nino Niederreiter doesn't ever seem to run out of energy. And of course, Scott Billick broke the news on Saturday evening about Niederreiter's agent being in town and him wanting
in
an
town
extension.
This weekend is when he's coming to town.
This week. He said this week. He said,
yeah. And then Elliot Friedman in today's 32 Thoughts, or I guess it was late last night, it was published, clarified that Niederreiter's agent is coming to Winnipeg this weekend.
You know what? Scott Billick has it. We don't need any clarity on the report, on the initial report. The fact of the matter is there's talk about Niederreiter wanting an extension here in Winnipeg.
I know, Drew, like it's worth noting, but I'm with Dave. Like, I guess that's Elliot's job to give us meaningless information like that.
Well, I would, far be it from me to have to defend Scotty, who we love, of course, but I thought Elliot should have probably given Scott a little bit of credit.
He should have given him credit. Absolutely.
Yeah. I thought it was a little.
I think we also have to give ourselves credit because we asked Jim Toth about that, and Jim Toth brought that up, right? So we gave Nino a little bump before that.
Oh, he got the
Arizona Coyotes game. So
he got that hat trick.
If it wasn't for us asking Jim, then Nino would never have contacted his agent. And said, come to town so we can work on the contract extension.
Anyways,
IC is going to be getting a percentage of Nino's next contract, by the way. So look out for that, boys.
Yeah. So anyways, the point is, though, that Scotty was the one who broke the news last Saturday night about Niederreiter wanting an extension here in Winnipeg. Yeah. Again, another testament. We can talk about that on Saturday. Maybe we'll have an extension to talk about.
3 years, $4.5 million. Like, that sounds right to me.
Yeah, I could see them squeezing into the 4th year potentially. He's going to be 32 when he signs, or when it kicks in. So, I mean, 3-4 years, the guy keeps himself in great shape. And again, like I said, you saw it throughout the course of this hockey game. And I'll get back to this talk. And I suspect, like I said, on Saturday's show, we can discuss Niederreiter at length, potentially a contract extension, or if it hasn't yet happened, the concept of a contract extension. But I mean, I just think that you just see that energy from this line. So whether it's Appleton, Lowry, or Niederreiter, it just works. And it's going to, again, Gabe Vilardi skated for the first time today. He was waiting for a brace to come in. So he's still a ways away. Remember the injury that took place on October 17th. And that was 3 weeks ago. And of course, they said 4 to 6
Dave,
weeks.
Is there? I don't know if Drew was thinking this as well or anybody else, but is there like a brace shortage in Winnipeg? Like, I would think that there's a lot of can't you go to like Pan Am? What's it called? Diamond Athletics. Get a brace. Like and that's speaking from a guy who didn't rehab his ACL and MCL injury from the Jewish Students Association for Hockey League. Yeah, exactly. I also had braces. Shout out to Dr. Ernie Cohen. I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he was my orthodontist.
Well, regardless of that factor, interesting as it is, Ezra, I think the reality is that he wasn't skating during the road trip. So it wasn't that I think there was a brace shortage per se. I think he was just waiting for the brace to come in because they probably ordered it when he was on the road. They got back. He's now skating today. So the point I'm making is he isn't coming back anytime soon. So you're going to see the lines kind of remain the way they are. Of course, there were a couple of guys who they kept leaving the game and coming back, leaving the game. So we weren't sure there were going to be some situations, injuries, that sort of thing. But ultimately, that third line is just playing so well together, and they get things started for the Winnipeg Jets.
Can I just throw in one more thing? I know we got to get back to the goals. I'm going to say this again and again. How did Chevy get Niederreiter for just a draft pick with an extra year left on his contract? Like I believe that was David Poyle's last move as a GM, by the way, because you remember
technically his last move was that 7th round pick that he made a trade at the he made one more
Tanner
trade.
Jeannot to Tampa Bay, and he got a good haul from Tampa Bay.
And Granlund to Pittsburgh. Remember that all happened at the trade deadline. He also
got Niederreiter, guys, for a second round pick.
No, I know. And with that year, Ezzy, it would have been good enough. You would have thought. Remember, if it was just that 1 year, for the run, you're like, okay, that's, it seems like a high price to pay. With the extra year, you're like, that's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you're going to get this guy who's going to fit in well, and again, help to dismiss that idea that, oh, nobody wants to sign in Winnipeg. Well, again, here's another guy who's looking like Manitoba is just fine.
Yeah, so 1-0 for the Jets, 4 minutes into the game. Doesn't take long for Nashville to tie it up, though. That comes at the 6:43 mark, so 2 minutes and 39 seconds later. Philip Forsberg, who was really a one-man wrecking crew for the Predators tonight, doing everything in his power to drag their team through the game and in the fight. Assist to Gustav Nyquist. That comes, as I mentioned, at the 6:43 mark. And, there's a lot not to like from the Winnipeg Jets perspective, a lot to like from Philip Forsberg's perspective. We know how talented he is. We know how good of a player he is. But Brendan Dillon is not going to like how this one looks on the videotape. He gets walked. I don't think Nate Schmidt's going to particularly like how this looks on his videotape as he sacrifices himself by, trying for the poke check and to prevent the pass. And Forsberg has got some nice, sweet hands. And he dekes out Nate Schmidt to put it 1-1, beating Laurent Brossoit early in the first period.
Sure. And, Brendan Dillon also, there's a turn. And again, I don't want to pick on Dillon because he's one of the Jets' top goal scorers right now. Let's be honest here. But no, I thought he was really good tonight. But yeah, he turns the puck over in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
Gus Nyquist hands it to Forsberg, who obviously does the rest. But yeah, Dave, Dillon, tries to close the gap, and Forsberg easily walks around him because he's got the speed coming into the zone. And then Schmidt goes down. As we know, that's like you learn how to do that when you're playing U13 hockey or whatever, when you drop to the ice and you try to block the the pass or whatever. I think it was O'Reilly, if I'm not mistaken, that went to the net. I didn't think he had a very good game, boys. He had a hat trick. Was it against Vancouver or Edmonton? I forget, but he had 3 goals and 4 points recently. I didn't think O'Reilly, and you guys know how much I like O'Reilly. Not just me. The guy won a Conn Smythe trophy.
Yeah.
The show's not about me, boys, but I just didn't think O'Reilly was very good tonight. So, but yeah, on this particular case, it was just,
with the exception of Phil Forsberg, I don't think anybody on the Predators was particularly good tonight.
No, I would agree with that. And that's the thing, though. Like the thing with the Predators is lately they've been giving up a lot of goals. And the thing with the Predators is heading into the season, everybody said, okay, well, after Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg, where are they going to get the goals? And look at Tomasino got a nice goal in the third period to make it a 2-goal game. Dave has always liked Tomasino because the Jets almost took him in 2019, but they obviously took Heinola. But yeah, the Predators are pretty top heavy. They just don't have a lot of game breakers. There's not a lot of scoring. Roman Josi, as long as you have him, you're going to have a lot of offense from the back end. But yeah, the depth just isn't there. But on this goal, it wasn't the best defensive coverage, but luckily the Jets scored 6 goals, so this goal was pretty meaningless, actually.
As it happened, it turned out to be meaningless because the Jets were able to pot more than a few past UC Saros, but it does put the Predators even with the Winnipeg Jets at 1 goal apiece, and that's where the first period ended, 1-1 after 20 minutes between these two teams. The Jets out shooting Nashville badly in that first period by a 14-7 mark, but really I thought the first period was probably the most even of the 2 periods. You look at high danger chances in the first period, both teams had 3. Jets had with a very small advantage when it came to possession, but I thought the first period was certainly the most even of the periods in this evening's contest. The Jets take over. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, Drew, I don't know if they showed it on at home, but they did a Moose jerseys off our backs. Did they show that to the folks at home or no?
I didn't see it, but I saw it on your socials because I knew you'd be. This is a very big night for you. This isn't just a night for the. This is a big night for you. Saluting the Moose while the Jets are playing. It's like worlds colliding, sort of, for you. I hope you were able to control yourself up there.
I may have been doing some hobnobbing with the Moose, ignoring anybody who is connected to the Jets or covers the Jets. I may have been ignoring them in favor of the folks who are connected to the Moose in the press box. That is a fact, Drew. And during the first intermission, or during about halfway through the first period, they held a kind of a jersey off our backs. So like I said, there was tons of Moose giveaways throughout the course of the evening.
Who did you give your jersey to?
I didn't give my jersey to anybody, unfortunately, but the 4 lucky fans did get to meet and greet and get the jerseys from Jimmy Olney, CJ Cease, Chaz Lucius, and Brad Lambert. So some lucky fans actually got a chance to meet them before the game, got some autographs, got a signing, which is kind of again, it's a nice way to integrate fans and get them excited and let them meet, some obviously the established vets and obviously two very exciting Jets prospects. And then throughout the course of the evening, they had a lot of different sort of things that were Moose related and that sort of thing. Kept doing Moose trivia, which we got all of them.
And by the way, I want to give a shout out. I was texting Dave this. I think I was texting you. I meant to text you if I didn't, Dave. Shout out to the Moose who went to Salome.
If you meant to send it to Dave, but you're not sure if you sent it to him.
It's like when I send you texts that say hi, and then Drew's known me for too long that he doesn't engage me. Like I texted Richie hi because that was the original hi. But now that when I text Drew hi, he always responds with the same things. Is this going anywhere?
If I respond,
and usually it's not. I just wanted to say that the Moose went to Salome Mission yesterday. They've been doing that, Dave, for many years. I don't know how many years. I know they did it last year.
Number of years. They keep.
I think that's also a great thing because Salome Mission obviously plays a key role in the inner city. One thing before we get to the next goal, though, Drew, I just wanted to mention the Lowry fights. And I know this was mentioned on the broadcast. And yes, I apologize for those who don't like fighting, but I thought it was really classy that he let Jeremy Lauzon let Adam Lowry get up because Adam Lowry fell. By the way, the second fight, that was like a one-punch knockout, him versus Cole Smith. But I just wanted to get that in there, that Lauzon let Lowry get up, because that's the code that you don't really see maybe as much with the lack of respect with players, hitting. I don't know if you guys saw the Luke Hughes hit. Now I'm forgetting who hit Luke Hughes. It was dirty. But yeah, I just thought I would mention that. I just thought
it was wasn't it Coleman? No, was it Coleman? No, it wasn't Coleman. It was
Colton.
Colton. Yeah,
Ross Colton on the Avalanche. That was a dirty hit. But I just wanted to get that in there, Drew. Sorry that I just thought, like, again, fighting is dying. It's eventually probably not going to exist 10 years from now. But I just like if you're going to see a fight, you just want to see a fight where two guys have respect. Nobody does anything dirty. And if a guy does fall, you let him, get up. And as we know, Lowry is a class act all the way. So you wouldn't expect that from Lowry. I just wanted to get that in there.
Okay, well said there, Mr. Ginsburg. So 1-1 after 20 minutes. Some good physicality in that first period, as you mentioned, with the couple of fights from Adam Lowry, and just a good edge to that first period. The Jets take over the game, really. I mean, they do it early in the second period. It starts at the 1:05 mark, and it's Kyle Connor getting his 9th of the season, assist to Mark Scheifele and Alex Iafallo. And I mean, look, Kyle Connor is an elite goal scorer in this league, and he's left all alone. I mean, the Predators just have an absolute brain fart when it comes to coverage in front of UC Saros, and it's a great job by the Iafallo, Scheifele, Connor line. It's a cycle. They're cycling down low, and they're winning puck battles, and then they're feeding the puck, and eventually it's Scheifele behind the net. And as I mentioned, Kyle Connor is just unmolested in the slot, and Scheifele hits him right with the pass in a prime shooting opportunity, and Kyle Connor makes no mistake because it's not the kind of spot that he usually misses from, and he gets the Jets a 2-1 lead here as the Predators just collapse in their own zone.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Obviously, we're going to get into maybe the nicest goal that the Jets have scored this year next, but yeah, I mean, it's really kind of inexplicable. Watching that, it was like, why isn't anybody taking Kyle Connor there? Like they were just like, it's like, okay, Scheifele, it's a nice pass. They're doing some nice work, as you mentioned. Iafallo and Connor was buzzing around. They were whipping the puck around pretty good. But I'm not sure, if the Predators forgot Connor was on the ice.
Go back and watch the replay, and it's like both Philip Forsberg and Gustav Nyquist it looks like Forsberg's late, and Nyquist makes the wrong read and just leaves the front of the net. It's just really poor, really really weird defensive coverage by the Predators on this one.
Yeah, and you're right, Drew. I mean, that's their top line. We talked about it. I mean, for the Forsberg O'Reilly line, and O'Reilly, as you said, he goes to chase Scheifele behind the net. I believe it was Jeremy Lauzon. It was the Predators' second pair. Lauzon is also behind the net. So you've got two guys worrying about Scheifele. And then I don't know if it was Carrier, I forget who it was, that also seemed to be focusing on Scheifele. And then, like we said, Forsberg's a step late. And he's, we know if you're a step late, you've already lost when you're talking about Kyle Connor. But you're right. I mean, there was three guys all focusing on Scheifele. Connor's left wide open. So, I mean, the Jets were
three guys what they gave them. The guy behind the net.
That to me, Dave, is was the major story of this game, right? Like the Scheifele line basically controlled the pace. They imposed their will. And on this goal, I mean, it was top line versus top line. And, the Predators were badly outworked there.
Well, and again, we've talked about this so much, but it's amazing to me what Kyle Connor can do under pressure, because he never seems to be under pressure. Like it's amazing. Like in tight spaces, he just dishes the puck. He very rarely just seems to like cough it up. He just seems to. I know he does. I'm not saying he doesn't, but
He might
it just
not
seems
back
like
check very much, but he doesn't usually
I'm not talking about the back checking. We're not talking about his back checking. What we're talking about right now is just the control he seems to have with the puck, especially in the O-zone, which is generally where you expect to see Kyle Connor. But he just makes things happen. And yeah, it was a milestone goal if you're one of those fans who compiles Jets Thrashers combined history, because it moved him ahead of Brian Little. He's well past Little if you're just looking at Jets 2.0 boys. He's in fact, he's just I'm getting ahead of myself, but he's actually only 35 goals behind Blake Wheeler for second overall. Of course, Mark Scheifele has top spot, but I mean, it's Kyle Connor just continues to show. Again, let's go back to the benefit of being with the Moose. Remember, boys, when he started with the Jets as the 2015 first rounder, and he tore up Michigan, and he didn't get things started with the Jets, of course, went back, played with the Moose, didn't really get things started with the Moose that quickly. Then he scored I think he scored like 21 and 24 or 25 games. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, started the next season with the Moose and then never looked back once he got that recall. So Kyle Connor is just a testament to what the draft and develop can look like for a top prospect. So he's been phenomenal. And as we always talk about his goal scoring, but his passing sometimes is just as good, with his numbers being fairly even, Steven.
2-1 for the Jets on Kyle Connor's 9th of the season. His 10th of the season comes 2 minutes and 43 seconds later. It also coincides as our Seagram shot of the game.
The Seagram shot of the game.
Big thanks to our friends at Seagrams for their sponsorship of the Illegal Curve post-game show and their sponsorship of the Seagram shot of the game. We remind everyone to drink some Fireball responsibly. It tastes like heaven and it burns like hell. So Fireball available at your local liquor retailer. It's a beautiful goal by Kyle Connor. You're going to see it on the highlight reels. Assist to Mark Scheifele and Dylan DeMello. Scheifele with 4 assists tonight. He got credited after the fact with an assist on the empty net goal that came late in the third period. So 4 assist night for Scheifele. Connor, just an absolute beauty here, just an individual effort, and he just makes the Predators defense look foolish, and then from a very difficult angle is able to tuck it under and through UC Saros to give the Jets a 3-1 lead. And it would not surprise me if this would be the proverbial highlight of the night in tonight's various sporting events, Ezzy.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of things were happening on this goal, and Dave M was the only one of us that was in the building, unless you were, Drew, and I'm not aware of it, but I believe Dave M was the only one in the building. So
Laura's away still. So if I was in the building, then somebody should call CFS, because that means the kids were at home by themselves.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, it starts with a great back check, right? Scheifele has back pressure. DeMello's the defenseman. They combine to make a good move. It's Gus Nyquist, right, Dave, who is the one that was, I don't know what he was trying to do. He was trying to go through 3 Jets. But, it's a nice play by DeMello and Scheifele. DeMello headmans the puck to, was it Iafallo or Scheifele? I forget. I can get the replay up here, I guess. But, I mean, let's just skip right ahead to Kyle Connor, right? Like, he absolutely undresses Carrier, the defenseman. Not William Carrier, Alexandre Carrier. William Carrier is on the Golden Knights, of course. But yeah, I mean, this is just an unbelievable move by Kyle Connor. And it looked like he was going to be, too out of balance to get the puck past Saros. But I mean, we know that, Kyle Connor is a wizard with the puck. So just unbelievable move on Carrier. And Dave, just amazing patience. And I don't know what other word. I mean, patience is the one that comes to mind to wait out Saros, but just unbelievable what Connor can do at top speed. We've been talking about this, as you mentioned, since he broke into the league in, I guess that would have been 2016-17, right? But just an incredible individual goal, but you got to give a lot of credit for the good defense that the Jets played in their own zone too.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost Datsukian, to be honest with you, and I'm sure Kyle Connor would appreciate that, given his fandom of the Red Wings, being a Michiganite. But like, guys, that took place right below where we sit in the press box, and I have to tell you, that was filthy. I mean, you watch that goal and you watch that play, and you can understand why Kyle Connor is currently on pace for 70 goals, Ezzy, because and it is remarkable. I mean, look, I mean, Kyle Connor didn't have a quick start to a season last year. I think he had 2 goals in his first 13 games for the Jets last season. Of course, ended up with 31. But I mean, the fact that he ends up with 11 goals in his first 13 games this year, and again, I like to joke around saying, "Oh, he's on pace for this, he's on pace for that." But yeah, I mean, he is on pace for close to 70 goals. Now, whether he cools off and comes back a little bit down to earth, that's fine. But right now,
and the Canucks PDO isn't going to stay where it is throughout the course of the season.
Well, like I said, it's most likely not going to continue. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a Jets fan and you see Kyle Connor doing what he's doing right now and producing the numbers that he's producing, again, just imagine. Now, remember, we've talked about it already, and I'll just quickly get ahead, not focus on this goal for a second, but just remember, if the Jets have good 5-on-5 play, they have the special teams working, if they can get their goaltending to where it should be, let me tell you, this Jets team is changing. And again, as he's right, it's only 13 games in, and this, 7, what is it, points in 8 of the last 9. So the streak is whatever. Again, like I said, we always talk about this is something you have to do. You have to bank these points early, especially as U.S. Thanksgiving approaches. You don't want to fall under Elliot Friedman's, concerning situation here. So it's good where the Jets are and what they're doing.
By the way,
right
Nino
now.
Niederreiter's agent will be in town Saturday at 11:30. I believe that they're meeting at Highs on Main.
Yeah. So, but getting back to the goal, I mean, again, like I said, seeing it live, Kyle Connor is a treat to watch. He really is. And I know the fans that were in the building really enjoyed that opportunity to see that goal, because it's one of those goals. You're just like, again, we're impartial. We watch this game, but you're like, ooh, you get out of your seat a little bit watching what he can do. And that was a significant play at an important point, because the Jets were able to build a lot of momentum from that, right? They were already feeling good, Drew, as you touched on, having scored early, but then to get another one and to really kind of put their seal on that game, not seal, but to kind of take over that period the way they did, given the fact that it was 1-1 after 20, it was a big moment in the game. And you could, again, we put it on, as he mentioned it, I think he did, but this was on our social media. So if you want to go, if you haven't heard the reaction, you've seen the goal, but to hear the way the crowd reacts, you can hear it. It's one of those goals that creates a buzz, and there was a buzz in that building.
The buzz in that building increased about 7 minutes later, a little less than 7 minutes later, when Cole Perfetti made it 4-1 for the Winnipeg Jets. We've talked about the improved special teams. This is a power play goal. It's his 3rd of the season. It comes with a 5-on-3, a 2-man advantage. Gus Nyquist is in the box for interference, and Mark Del Gaizo, who I believe is the illegitimate brother of Michael Del Zotto, is also in the box for a delay of game for puck over the glass. It's a shot by Scheifele, and Perfetti is untouched next to UC Saros and is able to get the puck up and over the Predators goaltender to make it 4-1 for the Winnipeg Jets. And we're barely halfway through the game as the Jets have really taken control early in this second period, Ezzy.
Yeah, and you mentioned the shot comes from Scheifele. I believe that's a career high for him, if I'm not mistaken, either, right? I'm not sure if we mentioned that. I don't think he's ever had 4 assists in a game.
Never had 4 assists before.
So I mean,
in a game.
he was incredible, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this a lot on Saturday. The improved defensive play. Like, I've been critical of Scheifele. Drew has been critical. Dave, a lot of people, for his defensive play. Nobody's really going to be critical of a guy who's always a point per game player, but Scheifele has stepped his game up early this season, boys. And yes, it's only 13 games, and he's not going to be Superman every single game, but I mean, it's just a really hard shot. And you got to like the movement, and it's just quicker. The power play looks quicker, and it just looks, we talked about this last game against St. Louis. They just seem to be, their shots and decision making just seems to be more purposeful. So it was nice to see Perfetti get a goal, because we talked about it. The Perfetti, Ehlers, Nemesnikov line, I mean, they weren't necessarily bad tonight, but that wasn't one of their best games either. I mean, the top line and the third line, I would argue, were clearly the Jets' best lines. But yeah, I mean, it's huge to get that goal, Dave, because it comes midway through the game, and Nashville has been struggling, right? We talked about it. They lost their last 2 games entering this game on the road, right? So that was really the killer, in my opinion.
Well, and you also want Perfetti to feel good about himself, right? He's got now goals in back-to-back games. He's got 3 on the season, which obviously isn't a significant amount, but he's up on pace for 18, and that'd be a lot more than his career high, I believe, of 8 as he. So you want Cole Perfetti. I mean, we've talked about it. You need that second line to score, right? It can't just be a second line that doesn't produce. And Vlad Nemestikov, similar to Nino Niederreiter, again, just a tidy player to steal a Druism. And he really does do a lot of really nice things throughout the course of the game. Things that I know fans and folks in our chat will appreciate because they do watch for those sort of things, but it's things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet that he does very well. And so, but at the same time, you have to produce. You can't just be getting, oh, hey, here's a bronze award for doing something really nice. You got to get
participation trophy.
Yeah, you got to get those good results. And so for Cole Perfetti to get that goal back-to-back games, and again, last one's an empty netter. This one's a nice goal. This is a really nice goal. So, I mean, for him, again, against a really good goaltender in UC Saros. So that might give him a little more confidence. Like I said, back-to-back games with a goal. So you're hoping for Cole Perfetti's sake that it can get him galvanized, get him going. And then if you've got that Scheifele line humming along and you got the Lowry line producing, and then if you can somehow, we'll talk about it as like you said, that Ehlers, Nemestikov, and Perfetti line, if you can somehow get them going, because that line is still not getting it done, that'll be a huge thing for this Winnipeg Jets club, says Captain Obvious.
Well done, Captain Obvious. 4-1 for the Jets at this point. The Predators don't go away as Philip Forsberg. Again, he's trying to drag the Predators through this game. He gets his second of the contest, and really he had a number of great scoring chances where he could have had the hat trick relatively easily tonight. Forsberg, his 4th of the year, assist to Tyson Barrie at the 12:05 mark of the second period. And this is not a great one. It's one that Laurent Brossoit needs to make this save. I mean, you just have to find a way to fight through it. It's a real nice shot. No question about it, but Laurent Brossoit himself would say that he needs to make this save, and he wasn't able to do it in this instance, and it made it 4-2 at this point in time. Still lots of scoring, lots of goals being scored. 4 goals scored in the first 12 minutes of the second period, but 4-2 for the Winnipeg Jets at this point, Ezzy.
I'm not
hang
sure.
on. Before you answer, I just want to say thank you to Fall Fever. He was very generous. He contributed some money to us. And so anytime somebody does that, we have to give them a shout out for doing so. So thank you very much, Fall Fever. 3 wins in a row, points 8 of the last 9 games. Not too shabby. Dallas will be the high water mark. That's coming up on Saturday, of course. Sorry, Ezzy. I apologize for interrupting.
$6.99. I can buy like half a bag of grapes at the grocery store, I think, with $6.99. But yeah, thank you, Fall Fever. We appreciate that. We'll put that money towards a good cause, maybe towards some IC Farmery beer, maybe.
Yes.
Look, I mean, they talked about this on the broadcast, Dave. I'm not sure how much it was discussed up in the press box. It looked like Morrissey could have gotten a stick and changed deflections. Remember back in the day, Don Cherry used to always talk about that in Coach's Corner. I'm not sure if anybody remembers Coach's Corner really, but it used to be a segment every Saturday between the first and second intermission with Ron. I'm obviously joking here, boys.
Yeah, you don't need to keep going. We knew what it was. Keep
going. I mean, the Jets were a little bit sluggish in the neutral zone. It was the Lowry line that was out there. But yeah, Forsberg just, takes the puck, and it's just a nice shot, and Morrissey's the defenseman back. And at first it looked like, okay, that was a stop that Brossoit should have made. It was glove side. But again, Dave, I want to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt if it did change direction. Because as Drew mentioned, Forsberg had a down year last year. His career year was 2 years ago. What did he have? Like 70 points or something, 40 goals, I think, for the Predators. And he's got a great shot. Like Forsberg is a legit sniper, but I just want to give Brossoit a little bit of the benefit of the doubt if that did change direction. Because even if it just grazes Morrissey's stick, and it's a really good wrist shot, right? Like that can make it very unpredictable for Brossoit.
Yeah, you can. Fair enough. I mean, I have time for that argument there. I think just for Brossoit's confidence, I think he probably needs to try and get that save, but it didn't end up costing the Winnipeg Jets.
I think he was trying, Drew. I don't think he wasn't trying.
Well, thank you, Ezra. Yes, I would hope if he wasn't trying, then there's a more serious issue at foot here for the Winnipeg Jets. But nonetheless, after a high-scoring second period, the Winnipeg Jets head into the intermission with a 4-2 lead. And to start the third period, I was really keying in on, were the Jets going to be able to sort of shut down this game and bring it home relatively smoothly, like they did on Tuesday against the St. Louis Blues. They ran into some penalty trouble, and some of these calls may have been a little bit on the iffy side of things, and the refs maybe got a little whistle happy there in the third period. But Nikolai Ehlers goes to the box at 6:53 for holding. Brendan Dillon goes to the box. What would that be? That would be 16 seconds after the Ehlers penalty expires. He goes to the box for slashing. But to the Winnipeg Jets' credit,
I thought the Cole Perfetti, sorry, Drew, I thought the Perfetti hook was maybe the weakest of the calls.
The one that happened. Look, there was when the Ehlers was in the box, there was the non-call on Kupari, where it looked like he was interfered with pretty blatantly. That should have drawn a penalty, but it didn't. So, I mean, there was a lot of, let's call it game management, or, I think the officials, we don't need to talk about the officials because they are what they are. The NHL has given their tacit approval for the officials to be inconsistent at best, and we'll say that that's what they are, is inconsistent at best. And there were some missed calls both ways here. Like the show, yes, exactly right. Maybe that's why we feel such a kindred spirit with the officials, because it's inconsistent.
There's just no accountability with the three of us,
or the officials for that matter. But nonetheless,
that's why we're kindred.
Yeah, the Jets did a good job in for a penalty kill that has struggled. They did a very admirable job here in killing off these early penalties in the third period. Because
they went 100%. I mean, look, and I agree with Dave. Like, it seems like it's such simple hockey analysis, but really, the biggest difference between the first, 7 or 8 games and the last 5 games, if my math is right, the Jets have played 13 games, right?
Yes.
The power play and the penalty kill together has been really bad. So, I mean, clearly, even though they haven't practiced, like we talked about it, we thought the Jets were going to be practicing the special teams more. They figured it out. And there was way too much, with Lowry and Appleton, and we got to give a shout out to Dylan Samberg, right? Like,
those
8 block shots.
Woo. Yeah. And they were big blocks too, as
Yeah. So, let's give Samberg some credit here. Like, you talk about unsung heroes. Like, he's not the guy that's getting the beautiful goals like Connor, but the boys on the bench were loving all those blocks, especially on the penalty kill.
Well, if you'd said Dylan that Brendan Dillon was going to have 3 goals for the Jets through the first 13 games, I think people would have thought that you might have been sniffing some of the funny gas or something prior to the season starting, because his career high, I did check it up, his career high is 6 goals in a season that happened
10 years ago.
In his rookie year.
No, Dallas.
Dallas?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
10 years ago. Dallas.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a long time. So he's halfway there. Whether or not he gets there will be, I guess.
Well, Drew, much like Cole Perfetti, he is also on pace for 18 goals this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody likes the on pace more than Dave M. I used to always make those jokes. Dave M's a pace setter.
He's got a calculator.
He's a pace setter of the show. He's a pace setter of social media.
Yeah, he's got a calculator ready and ready to go to start figuring out the on-pace numbers.
Look, let me tell you
just
something.
Got an abacus, Drew. That was more what you used to use back in the the 40s.
Me and Galileo hung out together and used an abacus.
All I know is this: Ezzy is always ahead of the curve when it comes to social media. So if you're emulating, if you're copying the big man, you're probably doing something right.
I don't know. I'm ahead of something. I'm not sure what it is, but
5-2 is what Brendan Dillon made it after the officials first waved off the goal, then allowed the goal, and then maybe they flipped a coin, and who knows what the hell they were talking about. I mean, look, even if they continued to disallow it, the Jets would have challenged, and it would have been a goal.
Well, it was clearly not goalie interference, right?
Like the first,
Saros is out of his crease, and what were they reviewing there?
Honestly, I'm watching that play and I'm like, okay, where is it? They show the first part and I'm like, please tell me that's not what they thought it was. The Lowry brushing past. I was like, because that is not even, I can't even use the word marginal, because that was nothing at all. And then even the other one, I was like, that is a really weak call, like really weak, and good on them for reversing it. But still, it was not a good call. I didn't see how they saw it, but do we know which ref do we know which ref called that? Was it
Sandlack or Nicholson? No, I don't know which one.
By the way, Sandlack, son of former Canucks player Jim Sandlack.
Jim Sandlack. Oh,
how did you know the last names of the referees, Drew? Good for you.
Well, I only
noticed. I have it in front of me on my screen here.
I only knew it because Dan mentioned it on the broadcast.
Jim Sandlack, Dave. That's a good reference. Big old school Canucks defenseman.
Yeah.
What's Dana Merzen up to these days?
5-2 for the Winnipeg Jets after the Dillon goal. And I don't mind that the refs get together to discuss it. I mean, that's good, I think, communication within an officiating crew. I'm not sure why it was waved off to begin with, but at least they got together to remedy the issue there. 5-2 at that point in time. Philip Tomasino makes it 5-3. Nice deflection of the Tyson Barrie shot off of the face-off win. This comes at the 16-16 mark. No real chance for Laurent Boissois. I thought on this one, and then into the empty net, Kyle Connor with the hat trick. So it's a 4-point night for Connor, 3 goals and an assist. It's a 2-point night for Alex Iafallo, and it's a 4-point night for Mark Scheifele, getting the 4 assists. So an all-around good effort, good victory, well-earned victory for the Winnipeg Jets on home ice. 6-3, they win in division yet again against the Nashville Predators, and the in-division games continue on Saturday afternoon against the Dallas Stars. That'll be a 2 o'clock puck drop, and of course 9 a.m. gets you started with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show on Saturday morning. When we come back on the Illegal Curve post-game show presented by Betway, we have more on tonight's Jets Predators game and some comments. I'll read some comments from Jets head coach Scott Arniel, full of praise regarding the back checking and defensive effort from Connor and Scheifele. Two concepts you don't necessarily associate with one another. Drew Mandel, Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg with you on a Thursday night. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Your coworkers love you because you always make them laugh. You're the life of the party with stories that have them rolling on the floor. Or maybe you're just the quiet one in the corner with the one-liners that just slay. Do you have what it takes to become Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job? Try your luck. Hit the stage at Rumors Comedy Club, and you could be walking away with $1,000 cash. Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job, presented by Rumors. For all the details, head to rumorscomedyclub.com.
So you're a pizza person, you married a wing person, but somehow your kids are salad people. You can't pick your fam, but you can pick your BP meal deal, starting from $18.99 for takeout or delivery at bostonpizza.com.
The game can change just like that. Accidents happen when you aren't protected. So now what? Getting to your injury quickly can make all the difference. Help prevent them from being game changers with Linden Market Dental Center. Bonding, crowns, bridges, and dental implants. State-of-the-art treatments are available to help you get back in the game. To learn more, visit lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Boston Pizza harnessed Fanalytics to test if the game is better at home or at Boston Pizza. The results are irrefutable. Catch the game at Boston Pizza, powered by Fanalytics.
Are you dreaming of your very own backyard rink this winter, but dreading the work involved? Well, stress no longer, because the Rink Guys are here to make it happen. The Rink Guys are Winnipeg's first outdoor skating rink installation and rink maintenance service. The Rink Guys offer free site evaluations and different rink construction options. Plus, they use a custom-sized liner to prevent any damage to your lawn. Lighting packages are also available to help illuminate your rink during those long, dark winter nights. To get your rink started today, visit therinkguys.com. For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the illegal curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. We're back Thursday night. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg with you.
Sorry for not wearing a poppy, by the way, boys. Like, I just haven't had the chance to purchase one, so I'll have to go pick one up tomorrow. But you boys have your poppies on the top there, so obviously I've been a little bit sloppy.
Ezzy, you should get yours on Sunday.
They're way cheaper on Sunday. It's like Halloween candy. Yeah.
Actually, Saturday after 11:11. Totally good.
Saturday after 11:11.
It's important to wear the poppy, so I got to pick one up and support.
Yes, you should get a poppy. We would recommend that, but keeping track of the poppies is the hardest part.
Holy moly!
Well, if you lose that pin, you're screwed.
Well, I was so cocky on day one of wearing it. I was like, oh yeah. I was with doing Moose coverage, and I was like, I got the poppy, no problem. I'm not even joking. I got back to my car. Nowhere in sight. It was absolutely no. I'm like, and I've lost it so many times in the car, so I'm like, it's for sure. And you're gonna stick your hand down, stab yourself, as Desi talked about.
What some people do though, Dave, is they use a bobby pin to reinforce the poppy.
Right. I know. I understand. Or you could get like a little magnet or something that holds it. I don't know. You'd think that they would, over all these years, develop something that fixes it, doesn't ruin your clothing. But regardless, yes, I agree. We'll get some rare earth magnets and start clipping them together. But the fact of the matter is,
hang on, what's a rare earth magnet and where do I get one?
I was going to jump in there,
Drew.
I'm not sure what type of dark web Drew and Disgruntled Weed are on, but what is
Dave?
what is rare earth magnets?
Yeah, rare earth magnets sound like they're very much black market, or I'm not even sure where you get those. Now I'm intrigued, and I might go down a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Are you serious? Right
what'd you say, Dave?
You're serious right now? Like, you don't know what a rare earth magnet is?
I don't either.
I mean, I know what a magnet is. I've never heard of a rare earth magnet. It's like,
Drew, I don't think Dave knows what it is either.
I may or may not have just Googled it.
That was amazing. Dave tried to sell us that, tried to think it was ridiculous that we didn't know what it was. So what is a rare earth magnet?
I have no idea. I mean, like, honestly,
you just said you Googled it.
Well, I was quick Google. A rare earth magnet is a strong permanent magnet made from alloys of rare earth elements developed in the 70s and 80s. And then they do we have to start paying Wikipedia if I keep reading? Rare earth magnets are the strongest type of permanent magnets made, producing significantly stronger magnetic fields than other types such as ferrite or alnico magnets. Blah, blah, blah.
You say El Nico or El Nino?
I was going to say El Nino to bring it back on topic, to be honest.
I could actually use a stronger magnet. I don't know about you guys. Like, we have a lot of, I know Dave.
Hold on. Ezzy, read this comment from Spency, because remember, the podcast doesn't get the benefit of what we see. So they sometimes hear us chuckling and they're like, what are these guys chuckling about? Please read that.
Drew is a big nerd. And you're right, Spency. I do need stronger magnets because I know Dave M
I'd like to point out, Dave, you told him to read the comment, and he completely didn't read the comment.
Yes, I did.
The comment from Spency, and of course I can take gears from Spency because I know it's done with love, is how does Drew, that being yours truly, the biggest nerd I know of, not know what a rare earth magnet is? And that's
why did you say I didn't read it? I read it.
Because you just said Drew's a nerd, but the whole point is the comment was funniest based on how Spency wrote it.
Thank you, Dave. I agree. I mean, thank you. Yes.
I like how I didn't realize we were at the point of the show where I have to interpret Spency's
you didn't actually, as no
interpretation and
no interpretation was required. Actually, you just had to strictly read it. Period. In fact, what you did was interpret it.
All I was going to say is that I could use some stronger magnets on my fridge because we have like 30 pictures, which I think a lot of people do. They put their family pictures of their friends and family, and the pictures are always falling down. So maybe I am going to invest in some rare earth magnet. We'll take the $6.99 that Fall Council gave us.
Are you sure? Are you sure that your fridge is magnetized? A lot of fridges nowadays don't allow you to actually put, magnets on them.
Dave, this is very quickly getting into like back in the day on TSN 1290 when Cosmic Bob called in and told Rick Ralph that he used to paint his microwave. Like, we're quickly veering into that lane, boys. Yes, Drew, I know that my fridge is magnetized because I have 50 magnets on it.
But you need stronger magnets yet, is what you're saying.
That's what I said. I mean, some of the magnets are stronger, but I mean, what are we talking about here, boys?
The Sharks are beating the Oilers 2-1. Does anyone talk about that or no?
Yeah,
I think
thanks for bringing it back there, Drew, because I wasn't sure where our fridge magnet conversation was going.
Ezzy, big trade of a Winnipegger. I mean, not a Winnipegger, a Manitoban. Sorry, going to from Minnesota to the San Jose Sharks, and good old Zach Bogosian back in Minnesota.
I'm not sure why the Wild are trading. Like, I'm a big fan of Bogo. Back in the day, he was a member of the IC Movember team. I'm not sure. Kalen Addison is a first-round pick. Also, Brandon Manitoba, obviously. Not sure. That trade was a little bit weird to me. Maybe I was the only one there, but I wasn't really sure.
The Sharks the Wild are trying to get tougher. Is what I read. I mean, I'm not sure that Zach Bogosian at this stage is. I mean, he's certainly he's not going to do anything offensively for you.
He's a good depth defenseman at this point. Didn't he win a cup with the Lightning too? I'm pretty sure he did.
He won a couple cups with the Lightning.
Right?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't, Drew. Because I'm pretty
one.
sure he remember he got traded to Toronto.
Oh, you're
right.
So
he lost. He only won the 1 year, and then he lost. He was back in Tampa the year they lost.
And by the way, I repeat, I am not, I'm not belittling Bogo. I'm a big Bogo fan. I'm just saying Kalen Addison is young. What is he, 22, 23 years old? I just thought it was like a little bit curious to move him out, because when you like the Minnesota Wild are at the point where, I mean, they don't have a ton of great young defensemen in the system. I just thought it was a little bit of a weird trade. That's all. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about fridge magnets again if you want, boys.
My favorite part of that trade, and we'll get to the Tough Duck hardest hitting comments so we can wrap up the show before it goes even further down the chaos stream. My favorite part of that trade, which it was Zach Bogosian for a 7th round pick. I mean, it was not what you would describe as a earth shattering trade. Is that Bill Guerin said that he's been working on that trade for 6 weeks.
Which trade?
the trade to acquire Bogosian.
What was taking 6 weeks?
That's my point. He traded the guy.
That should be a pretty quick.
What's going on here?
It's 6 weeks to make that trade. I'm like, what the hell were you doing? Were you in a coma for 5.5 of them? I mean, what the hell were you doing? That took 6 weeks to make that trade. That was my point. Okay, Tough Duck hardest.
How old is Bogosian now? Is he like 33, 34?
I bet he's older than that. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll play the intro to the Tough Duck and I'll look it up. How old Bogosian?
He's 33.
Is. Okay, maybe it looks like everyone's older than younger than
we
I
wish
am.
we were 33. That's the thing, Drew. 33 was, we were young and dumb.
The Tough Duck hardest hitting comment.
Now we're just old and dumb, is I think what happened there. Not young. Yeah. But old and dumb. Thanks to our friends at Tough Duck for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. We do it on each and every edition of the post-game show. One of the hardest hitting comments in the chat gets saluted with a Tough Duck toque. Ezzy, who has the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment tonight?
Well, there were a lot of great comments, and I'm mainly talking about the fridge magnet related comments. So, I mean, it's going to be tough to give a hardest hitting comment to a Jets related comment. Also, shout out to Darwin Moore. Not sure if you guys saw that comment about getting the hockey cards and Timbits at Tim Hortons and then opening the pack and then realizing that it was cards from last season, 22-23 season. So I think Darwin should go back to Tim Hortons and return that pack of cards immediately. That was a good comment. We're going to give it to Sparky, though. Tonight's Tough Duck hardest hitting comment goes to Sparky. Drew's got it up there. Jets are only effective when they skate, not puck watch. That's where my frustration lays with this team. They're finally playing the way that brings out the best. Hopefully Bones sees that. We don't know when Rick Bowness is coming back. Obviously, he's going to take as much time as he needs. As he should with his wife's health right now. So I love that comment, though, because the Jets, we've talked about this a lot. The special teams are a big thing, but the way the Jets are skating right now and the way they're possessing the puck, they're they're dominating at 5-on-5. So I agree. I mean, the Jets they're taking it to the other teams. We've seen it in waves, and these last 2 games, I think against lesser opponents in the Central, I think you've really seen how, the Jets are badly outskating these teams. So Sparky, send me an email, Ezra@illegalcurve.com, or slide into my DMs on X at ICSEG. When is that not going to be weird, by the way, to say X? To me, it's still
you're the
weird.
only person I know who says X. I mean,
that's what it's called. It's X. It's X.
I know, but I don't think anybody actually calls it X.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Elon calls it X.
Well, you and Elon are tight, so I mean, it makes sense that you're
Well, we have
looking at-
we have similar bank account figures, so I mean,
Well, you
but
both have four. You both have four letters in your first name, and they start with E. So that's where the similarities begin and end, right there.
Sparky, send me that email with your mailing info, and Tough Duck will ship out a toque to you. And man, these things are gold right now because I mean the weather is crazy. It's not that cold really for this time of year.
It's going up to like 7-8 degrees next week.
It's snowing and it's sleeting. Like the other day, a Tuesday night was like the weirdest. It was like hail and ice chips and everything, like chips. But yeah, that was you're still gonna need those toques. So make sure you send me an email, Sparky.
There you go, Sparky. Congratulations.
Do we know if Sparky's a dog, by the way?
I doubt Sparky's a dog, but it's. I mean, I've never
Well,
met
that's
a dog
the opposable digits to type, right, Drew?
It's true. I've never met a dog that can type just yet, but stranger things have happened, like people tuning in to listen to the three of us ramble incoherently. But here we are, nonetheless, about fridge magnets. Dave, do you have tickets to give away for the Moose this weekend?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, I saw your tweet. I'm looking at your tweet from 10 minutes ago that says tune into Illegal Curve.
For the record, I never specified that we would give away tickets to this weekend.
Is this comment, by the way, Dave, that's up Perry, the security guard from Canada Life, or is this a different Perry?
No, it's a different Perry.
Okay.
That would Perry would use his real name. Come on, Drew. I mean, as you know better than that.
I mean, that was a Perry.
No, but he'd use it. We know Perry's full name, and that's not Perry's full name.
I don't. I have him saved in my phone as Perry Security Guard.
Hold on, Drew. Talk about something else. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
I'll
fair enough.
Back to those fridge magnets.
I saw your tweet, and I assumed that's that you were trying.
I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't even going to try a Moose Minute. I mean, like the whole show has been.
I know. I just thought you might have.
The whole show has been Moose Minutes, for God's sake.
Well, Dave, if you stop yapping about yapping, did I say yakking?
You did
yapping about the Earth magnets, then we could have got a Moose Minute in.
Well, because the Moose haven't played since the last time we had a Moose Minute, so that's why this weekend will be chock full of Moose Minutes.
Who's in town, Dave Laval?
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually it is a fun game because the Sunday game's the 2:00 game, and then Monday's the school day game at 10:30 in the morning.
Is Monday a holiday? No,
don't skip school, Drew.
It's like a carryover for Remembrance Day.
Right. Oh, okay. So they bring a bunch. That'll be fun then. That's there'll be a fever pitch. A lot of the squealing kids. It's always a good game when you listen to the audio of. It's just Daniel Fink can barely be heard over the sounds of just kids screaming at the top of their lungs.
And I'm not joking when I say this. Like when you hear the kids yelling for blood for whenever there's a fight.
Yeah.
And people hate fighting, and then you hear these kids go fight, and the kids absolutely go bananas when there's a fight on the ice. Like you said, Drew. It's like thousands. Like it'll be probably, my guess is 7,000 or 8,000 kids in the building. So it's going to be
just bloodthirsty animals, all of them, right?
Well, to answer your question, Drew, we do in fact have seats in the Illegal Curve Zone. This might even merit. Come on, Drew, hit the button. Come on.
Oh, right. Okay.
Give the people what they want.
There you go.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
I don't know if the people wanted it, but I definitely wanted it. I haven't heard it in a while, so it made me feel good. Thank you, Ezzy. We do have seats in the Illegal Curve Zone. So if you are the type of person who would like to go see the Manitoba Moose, the Jets of tomorrow in a few days, then you can get tickets in the Illegal Curve Zone. Send me an email, dave@illegalcurve.com, or slide into my DMs on Twitter because I see Dave, and you can go see the Moose. And again, they didn't have a great series against Rockford, but they were feeling good about the game overall prior to that last weekend series. So we'll see what happens. But as he said, they had a good week with going to the silo mission. Jimmy Olney dealing with unfortunate situation, the Moose captain, an ACL, MCL injury. Mark Morrison, the head coach of the Moose, told me 2 days ago. So we'll get an update maybe from him tomorrow morning. I will, at least, to find out what's up with the captain and see where that stands. But otherwise, again, we'll see what happens. They brought up another Manitoban, Ezzy, Dawson Barteau. He's up with the Moose now, recalled from Idaho of the ECHL. And so, again, will Brad Lambert, Nikita Chibrikov, and the rest of the rookies continue to pour it on? Danny Zhilkin looking like, where's Frosty? He's going to be happy because Danny Zhilkin looks like, that's funny, Mindell, Magnet Minute, says Spency, but Danny Zhilkin looks like he's putting it together. A lot of these guys are putting it together. So Dmitry Kuzmin, 2021 third rounder, he scored his first pro goal. He's down with Thomas Milic, who is continuing to play really well for the Norfolk Admirals. This is turning into a Moose and Admirals minute, Ezzy, but we'll bring it back. So yeah, it's been a long enough show. So let's wrap it up. If you want tickets to the Moose games, either of them Sunday or Monday, hit me up with the email or into the DMs, and you can go to the games.
There you go. Fun for everyone here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Reminder, 9 a.m. Saturday, it's the Illegal Curve hockey show. And then, of course, after the Jets and the Dallas Stars on Saturday afternoon, it will be the Illegal Curve post-game show. So
you know, I've already got messages to go to the Moose game.
There you go. It doesn't take long. It'll be a full day of action with Illegal Curve come Saturday. For now, the Jets victorious tonight, 6-3 over the Nashville Predators. Want to say a big thank you to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, K. Trevor Wilson is at Rumors. You know him from Letterkenny, of course. Very few tickets remaining for Saturday at 9:45. Everything else is sold out. So if you want to get your tickets, get them very quickly for that. Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Betway, they're the title sponsor of the post-game show. Our friends at Tough Duck give away toques, and we appreciate them. Boston Pizza, love our relationship with Boston Pizza. Seagram's.
I was there tonight. No joke.
Yep.
I had my pierogi pizza. Use the gift, the kids card, which is the best deal. I know Drew knows about that kids card. So great times at BP Taylor.
Every parent knows about that.
A show in a couple weeks there.
Every parent knows about that kid card. That's
that kid card. I hang on to that thing. I keep it with me at all times.
There you go. Seagram's, of course, the Seagram shot of the game went to Kyle Connor for his fantastic second goal of 3 that he had tonight. Rolly's Transfer, the Rink guys, and of course, Farmery Beer, home of Illegal Curve Lager. Get it now at number 2 Donald Street. You'll need some this weekend, I'm sure, as you're tipping a few back, watching the Jets, watching the Bombers, and whatever else you might be doing.
You can order it online, by the way. I think Dave mentioned that on Saturday, but some people were asking if you can get it out of province. You can order it online. I don't think they're going to ship it to Saskatchewan or Alberta, but you can order it on the Farmery website.
Shout out to my bro who picked up a flat today. So
nice.
More support from everyone. And we may have some more exciting news when it comes to ordering it online. So stay tuned to our next show and you'll hear more about that.
Does Dan have a billboard now, by the way? I could have sworn I saw your brother on a billboard for his new law firm.
I don't think so.
Oh. We can't go down this rabbit hole.
Ezzy, that was just a Lionel Hutz one. Come on.
I was gonna say that was a most wanted.
Nobody has better reviews on RateMyLawyer.com. Let me tell you, Dan Manouk has great reviews on Rate My Lawyer.
625 Naren. If you need any legal advice, KMMG.
There you go. Support all of our fine sponsors because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. Big thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. In case you need more post-game coverage, and I'm sure you do, all sorts of news and audio about the Jets, about the Moose, it's available all the time on illegalcurve.com. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us feedback here, there, and everywhere regarding what you think of these shows we put on for you. For Dave Manouk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until Saturday morning at 9 a.m., we wish you good night and good luck, and thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.